Grab your popcorn, pour your drink of choice, and hit play. This is Pop, Pour, Play,
where we dive into shows you don't want to miss. I'm Kevin.
I'm Nichelle.
And welcome to our podcast.
All right. So welcome to this episode of Pop, Pour, Play. This week we're talking about season 2 of Severance and Squid Games, which I'm excited to dive into both of those. But before we dive in, Kevin, you got to tell me, what do you have in your cup? I know you poured something.
It's a momentous occasion. I've waited 3 years for this day for Severance Season 2 to come out, so I have some bubbly in my cup.
Nice. Well, what I've got here is a Moscow Mule in a champagne flute. Don't ask me why.
There's no other way to do it, in my opinion.
Right. So which one are we talking about first?
I say we just dive right into Severance. I've been dying for this one. I think it's important for those that haven't seen the show, just to give a little backstory as to what's going on. So Severance, the show, is set in a company called Lumon, where employees undergo a procedure, also known as severance. And the severance procedure separates their work and personal memories. So essentially, when they go to work, they don't know who they are on the outside. They don't know if they have kids or anything like that. And vice versa. When they leave to go home, they don't remember what they did at work. They don't know if they're a hairdresser, an accountant. No one knows. The show dives into the lives of those that participated in the severance procedure. And things do get a little tricky when the employees start becoming suspicious of the company's motives. And I'll leave it there.
So if you had to describe how you felt after episode 1 of season 2, and wait, before you share that, I just want everyone to know, if you haven't seen it yet, there could be some spoilers here. So
okay, tune out. Okay, because some secrets are coming out, all right?
In 3 words, how you felt about the show. What you got?
Confused, disoriented, and the last one is just, huh? What are your 3 words if you had them?
Oh, gosh. Okay, yes. I think I was also, I'm going to have to say also confused, excited, or happy, and disturbed.
Okay. So I can understand confused and disturbed. I'm going to question you on happy, and we can, dive right into our hot takes. What makes you happy?
Okay, well, I will see you're happy with
The gang is back.
Yes, that's what I was hoping. Honestly, I was concerned. Last time we talked, I was like, where the hell is Dylan, Irving, and Helly?
Yep.
So they're back.
The gang is back. They came back as if they were suspended in time.
Quite literally.
Right? Yeah.
Quite literally. I mean, Irving came in banging on the door just as he was knocking on Bert's. So I don't know that there was any sort of like, shame on you, Irving. They kind of just threw him right back into it. What was your hot take?
I was thrown off. I questioned myself on whether or not Lumon had actually reformed themselves. Like, instead of forcing people to stay and having their outie send them back, they were letting Mark go. I was like, oh, okay, Mark is being defiant of the work rules and trying to get other people in trouble, setting them up.
His new
team. He ran to the boss's office, and went into his desk and took out the speaker trying to speak to the board.
That was he was such a savage when he was like, oh, you didn't see what I did to the kitchenette yet?
Yes. And I thought, okay, surely they taken him to the break room. And when they took him to the elevator, I was like, wow, maybe they've changed. Maybe they're like, you know what? You're just not a good fit. I don't know why we kept you. Peace.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
I was very happy to see that when he came back, maybe not on Milchick's choice or anything like that.
Right.
That's when we realized the team was back together. And when they were going to the break room, I was like, interesting. So they're just going to get punished right then and there, but it was all remodeled into this, weird, almost looks like a gaming room. They had like individual gaming chairs almost. The key point there was the odd video that they played and us discovering that there's 260 Lumon facilities and
Yeah.
that many severed floors. So who knows
Right.
how many severed people there are out there.
And that you're supposed to find it rewarding to bob for pineapples with your arms tied behind your back. So who the hell wants to bob for pineapples?
I want to know who won. Like whoever wins that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Dylan. Dylan must win.
100%.
I think another one for me was now when they're in that break room, Helly. Girlfriend is not telling the truth.
Nope.
I don't blame her. I mean, I could see that she's probably like, I'm part of the problem. Are they really going to believe me that I've been real all this time, that I didn't know I'm an Egan? Like, you just don't know what's going to come out of that. So I could see why her gut is to like not tell the truth.
I would lie at first too. Honestly, she came up with that story very quickly.
Oh, she did though, right?
And, just the way she came acting this time around, from season 1 to this episode, and maybe that was the kiss with Mark that changed how she feels and whatever. But my gut just feels like something's off there. I don't know what that means yet. But maybe she's there to foil their plans because she is part of the problem at the end of the day. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just speculating and way off base, but my gut just says something ain't right.
Okay, well, I got to dig into that just a little bit. That something ain't right. What are you feeling? What's going on?
She came in, she was very, season 1, she's very, I'm an independent person and my opinions are my opinions and you can't change that. And
very stubborn.
This time she came in much softer and, are you okay, Mark? And let's do this. And separating herself from her outie. And I know she has her issues with her own outie, but she was also the person that was very much like, we're the same person. I'm still like this person. I should be able to leave. And now her tune's changing.
Yeah, that's true. Because in the hall, she was like, we're not like our outies. We don't owe them anything. So you may be onto something, my friend. You may be onto something.
Or I could be very off. I don't know. No.
Well, we'll say the last 2 points for me was I did like the emotional connection and that vulnerability between Irv and Dylan in the hall and him wanting to, keep his friend. And I think the line that stood out to me in that one is like when Irv said, "I'm your favorite perk." I was like, oh. And then, of course, good old Dylan.
Don't bring them into it. Can't accept the love,
Doesn't know how to.
I loved that part. And then Mark's wife being on the screen.
Yeah. I
feel like this ties into what you were talking about before and keeping them in line. They're like really like managing the emotions of those on the severed floor.
Manipulating their thoughts. It could be anything, right? We don't really know. Obviously, she's still in the picture in some way, shape, or form, and she's probably on that testing floor. And the fact that she was on the computer screen is Mark's actually manipulating his own wife's, emotions as a severed person.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you know what she didn't look like? She did not look like Mrs. Casey.
No.
Perky, bubbly, put together. So
No, she did not.
I'm curious if she's actually the Miss Casey we've been seeing on the severed floor. If the way we saw her was her severed version being kind of held in this hospital-ish or some type of facility because it looked like her vitals were on that screen. Maybe on the top was the location of where she is. She may not even be in the same location as him or something. It's just a lot of unknowns there.
Yeah. I really do think that she's a bigger piece to this puzzle than we think. Or that they want us to think. I know we keep thinking about Mark and he's the main guy and why is he here and why do they choose him and why do they accept him to come back after all this trouble that he caused? And I'm wondering if it's really about her and we just don't know that yet.
Yeah. Well, I definitely hope they dive into her story. And there is something that I did think about. What if she was the one actually the first to be severed and it wasn't Mark?
Maybe she said, hey, let's fake my accident and I'm here for it and my husband doesn't need to know. And maybe she just never really thought Mark would sign up for it voluntarily.
Or what if she became rebellious also, and they killed her, or somehow she was in this accident. Maybe she was similar to the guy from season 1, and then they decide to bring her back and then create her through the Severance. I don't know, recreate her or something. I know there's a theory about bringing people back, so I'm kind of throwing that in there.
Are you saying like, they took her body and said, hey, here's a...
Yeah, or maybe the accident didn't fully kill her, but it created a way for them to disappear her.
Reactivate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To Gone Girl her.
Yeah. I think you might be onto something there, honestly.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to them showing us more about her. That's what I'll say. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing what the Audis are doing. Episode 1 gave me nada, so I just need that. That's all I need. So I'm hoping episode 2 is all about that. I'll pin it there.
I hear you. All right, so let's talk about now Squid Games. Yes, and again, for anyone who hasn't seen Squid Games is a South Korean drama or thriller where they have 456 contestants that are drowning in debt. And so they compete in these deadly childhood inspired games. There's a massive cash prize for whoever survives in the end. It's hosted on this secluded island. You have masked guards or soldiers, this mysterious overseer, and the games really force players to make some, I don't know, some harrowing moral choices, fragile alliances, and some serious brutal betrayals. Season 2 dropped in December. I think there was maybe a yearish between the two. I think season 1 dropped in 2020, actually more. Season 1 dropped in 2021.
Crazy.
Yes, it didn't feel like that. And
No, it
then,
did
of
not.
course, but thankfully, season 3, from what I'm hearing, there's no exact date, but it's going to drop like in May or something around there of 2025.
I think people are viewing it as more of like a part 2 to this season, even though it's labeled as season
exactly.
3.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, 3 words to describe how this season made you feel.
That's a great question. I feel very emotionally taken advantage of. That was 4 words, but I was like, my heart was torn out. The way it ended, I really thought there was another episode. I thought there was going to be more. Mm-hmm. And then the credits rolled through and it was like, here's some more shows. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah. When they show that here's more shows, I'm like, no.
I was mad. I stood up and I was like, are you serious?
I hear you. I would say my 3 words were angry AF. I'm not going to fill in those other 2 words, but that's exactly how I felt. And multiple layers of anger. There's multiple things that made me angry. 1, similar to you, that it ended how it ended, and there was no other episode. And 2, we'll get into when we do our hot takes. But yeah.
Tell me your hot take. I need to know what your first hot take is. Let's just dive right in.
I know, right? So I grappled with, this is before I talk about the hot take. I know you asked me for a hot take, and I'm sorry I have to say this, but I grappled with the acting.
You old woman!
You want to know why I'm here, huh? To pay off my ungrateful son's debt!
You are? You don't know me, but I sure know you, G.
Instruction.
Know who I am?
Should I?
Nah, that's all right. You and me together, yeah, I feel the power. Found her hidden in the weeds, you're my beauty flower.
At times I was like, okay, the acting, it's debatable. But I will say the premise of the show, there's so many layers to it. It is very thought-provoking if you look past some of the acting.
I can agree that some of the characters were like, maybe recast next time. I don't know.
Or just don't, try to do too much. I think they were just really trying to create this emotional bond with the characters outside of the games this time, and the dynamics of the mother and son inside, the girlfriend who's pregnant and the boyfriend. It's just there was a lot going on.
I appreciated that. So,
Okay.
I actually appreciated that we went into the lives of even the workers, not even just the players. Because
I was gonna, yep.
I think, at first season, it was very much like the players and the game and how do we beat the game. And now it's like, let's go behind the scenes. And these people in the pink, like, who are they? Are they actually like evil people, or are they just people from the street? And it seemed like it did add that layer of complexity that you were talking about of all of these people on the island are there for a reason. And it's either they're trying to escape from something that they're dealing with in life, whether it's debt or just unhappiness. And I thought it was interesting to see the game runners. I don't know if that's like the best way to put it, but the people in the pink suits, just to see like a little bit more of what they were going through too.
I call them the mass soldiers. And
mass soldiers.
I mean,
that's better.
I was going to point out about, I did like that side of seeing the perspectives from like the people who were hosting or part or workers of the game, right? Yeah. They had different tasks and things. And I was always wondering like, what kind of person is doing this? Mm-hmm. But although the characters like that showing their lives outside of the game, I can appreciate it. So I see what you're saying, but I just thought that the way that it was done, like what they did in the first one, we were in the game and then we did flashes outside of the game to show the lives of the people inside, rather than this, this girl in her car, girl at the hospital, the girl who called her boyfriend he didn't pick up. I don't know. I still want to understand who these individuals are, why they made the choices they did to get to the game, but I don't know that I like the way that it was done.
Almost like it was forced a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so. For me, that's how I felt.
Okay. All right. So now I'm dying to know what one of those hot takes were.
Yeah. So besides the fact that the character performer, that she was one of the masked soldiers, or the people in pink, as I called it, that was one of my hot takes we shortly touched on. I also, from the beginning, kind of going from the beginning, the Rochambeau, the double game, the gentleman in the suit who was recruiting people, was how sick and twisted he was, that he had to kill his own father in these games. Mm-hmm. And he played this double game, the Rochambeau -1 and the Russian roulette.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, wow.
Very
they really manipulated his mind. Like that he is just,
I would love for like a psychologist to weigh in on, that type of person and like what experiences lead to that type of
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Very twisted.
Very twisted. Very twisted. What about you?
What I find interesting is player one. I was just like so baffled as to like, why is he in the game? Is it more for the wow factor? Because what was the purpose of him jumping into the game and really getting close to Ji-hun, or if that's how you say his name?
I think it's Song-gyun.
All right. What you said. I apologize for mispronouncing, but I just want to know, like, what was his purpose? What's your take on him, like, jumping into the game? Because I just couldn't understand.
Yeah. Okay, so, oh man, now you're getting to the heart and energy of my anger. Yeah. Well, we know season 1, player 1 was also someone who was running the games, footing the bill. And now when you meet a number 1, you're not skeptical. I'd be skeptical about everybody who was in that place thinking, okay, which one of you are a mole? Because they know I'm here. They probably got somebody in here trying to kill me when I'm asleep because I'm coming back to destroy them and take them down. I would have just been very skeptical, but I'd also play the game because you don't want to be solo in this type of position, right? You got to create alliances.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I'm just like, point. I'm just like, you didn't think anything about number 1? Not anything? And that just, and you see the energy as it's coming up. It's all coming back to me, this anger. Because I'm thinking like, this whole nemesis posing as your friend, it has been done so many times. And granted, I mean, it's his character. He's not probably thinking about the various shows like Westworld, The Sopranos. I think the most notable is like in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, you had Senator Palpatine. I think that was like, come on, every time they infiltrate and they're 2, 3, 5 steps ahead because they come in as if they're your friend. So now you've got this guy who's number one. And at one point they were almost like knocking knees. I'm like, I would have been like, yo, I don't know you. Like, scoot over. You're not my best friend from school. Like, I was just so angry about, and then I had to think about Sung Yoon. He was like doing this thing like he was Batman looking over Gotham at times, sitting in his car on this building, looking down as if he's, trying to find these people who recruit for this game. And he's shooting in this dilapidated, abandoned hotel and stuff, but he's not really street smart.
No.
He's more of the addict junkie smart because he was addicted to gambling. And so when he gets in the games, because of what they showed us early on, was thinking, oh, he's going to be on top of his game. He's going to be like, no one's going to pull the wool over my eyes kind of person.
Yeah.
And yet they were always just 5 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm. And, I think they were smart in not having the same exact games this time around than last time. So he's back now. So let's make him feel like he knows what he's doing. Let's make him feel like he's winning. And let's rip it out from under him. I almost want to go back and rewatch it and just really pay attention to the dynamic between Gia, the main character in Player One.
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm having fun with it. Yeah. There's so many layers there. We could definitely do another video just about Squid Games.
Yeah, I think we need to.
So those are our 2 shows. Again, if you want to see or hear what we are going to be watching next week, please tune in to our other episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, if we're not on your favorite app yet, just let us know. We'll see what we can do. And see you next time